Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Representative Misha Mainor. I represent District 56, which covers the heart of Atlanta within Fulton County. Almost to the day, 59 years ago, right here in our great state of Georgia, the United States Supreme Court established the one person, one vote principle in its ruling regarding legislative redistricting. The case was Gray versus Sanders, and the county in question was Fulton Justice. William D. O. Douglas wrote in the majority opinion, the concept of political equality can mean only one thing: one person, one vote. We have assembled today to discuss my efforts in collaboration with Commissioner Khadijah Abdur-Rahman to ensure the residents of Fulton County have political equality, which, as Justice Douglas articulated, can only mean one thing: one person, one vote. Fortunately for us, the issues we face are not as heavy as those raised almost 60 years ago. The issue that we are here to address today is the issue of submitting a fair and legal map for redistricting for Fulton County Commission districts. So let's look at the facts. In the 11th hour, the Fulton County Board of Commissioners submitted a map with a deviation of almost 6%. The State Reapportionment Office rejected the map because it failed to meet minimal requirements. As you can see, the map splits neighborhoods in half and draws two commissioners into districts in which they don't even live, among other transgressions. Fulton County Board of Commissioners has not submitted a map approved until this morning by the State Reapportionment Office, and it still has to go through other steps before it can pass, and most likely will miss the deadline. The impact of this failure would force the citizens of Georgia to vote on 2010 census data until 2024, unless a map is certified for submission into law. Using data that is 14 years old would be a gross disrespect of the voting rights of every citizen in Fulton County. This would offend the equality in voting power that the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution guarantees. Furthermore, we are less than 90 days from early voting in the primary elections. If Fulton County voters were forced to hold elections with outdated maps, citizens could challenge in court all elected officers based on a violation of their 14th Amendment's due process clause. The deadline for maps to be submitted and accepted by the County Commission has passed. As of 11 a.m. this morning, they just submitted the maps, which have still not gone through the process. As a resident and representative of Fulton County, acting according to the reapportionment rules and the Georgia Constitution, I created a map. The map that is submitted, as you can see, has a deviation of less than 1%. I shared the map with Commissioner Abdur-Rahman, and she has offered her approval. There is only one map at this time that is on track for approval. It is now beyond the 11th hour. The citizens of Fulton County deserve a fair and equal map. They are entitled to a map. I have given them a map that ensures their one person, one vote rights. While that should be the end of the story, it is not. But I am here to tell you that I will not allow the private agendas and the personal politics of certain members to take precedent over the principle of justice for citizens of Georgia. I have been accosted, threatened, and malaligned by people who I consider colleagues. Again, individuals who are placing pride in personal politics above citizens of Georgia. Some members have tried to make this a partisan issue. Others are trying to make this about race. In both cases, these are desperate attempts to excuse the actions and inactions that resulted in Fulton County not submitting a map on time. We stand here with one map that I submitted. It is fair, it preserves the integrity of the districts and the rights of citizens. I have been open and above board throughout this entire process. I have kept accurate notes, texts, and email records presented chronologically in the media packet. HB 1199 keeps every single community whole, keeps communities of interest together, does not split neighborhoods or precincts, and contrary to persons who have failed to submit a map, this map supports Democrats in every single district in the county. We will now hear from Fulton County Commissioner of District 6, Commissioner Khadijah Abdur-Rahman.
Okay. Good morning to everyone. I am Commissioner Khadijah Abdur-Rahman of the Mighty Six, Fulton County Commissioner of District 6, and I'm here today to let you know Fulton County dropped the ball. I don't know what else to say to you. I was excluded from the process. My district has had the most growth. Only one other district has had the most growth since the 2020 census, and that is Commissioner Lee Morris of District 3. So this is not personal. This is not a Democrat versus Republican thing. This is a one man, one vote thing. This is the fairness of the communities to not be marginalized or disenfranchised. I stand here today representing almost 200,000 voters who have been disenfranchised. If we go by the 2010 census, we are breaking the law. We must go by the 2020 census map in order for those populations to be not only realized, but to make sure that we are in, we won't be held to a federal lawsuit for civil rights violations. That's what this is about. I know some of you have heard other stories or whatever, but today I stand here with Misha Mainor, state rep, and I stand here with community members from one end of Fulton County to the other to say, let's be fair. Make the process fair. Fulton County dropped the ball. They did not get a map to the delegation nor to be dropped in the assembly in time. And I thank God, I'm on record today thanking God for State Rep Misha Mainor for listening to me. She could have folded to the massive attack she was under. She could have said, Khadijah, it's a political football that's too hot, but she didn't. She listened to me and she listened to the community. So I'm here today to tell you if we're going to have the one man, one vote, you can look at the maps, the one at the beginning and the one at the end clearly shows you how clean the boundaries are. You don't go in breaking up neighborhoods, having 3 different commissioners for one neighborhood. That's disenfranchisement. So I'm standing here today on what I have always stood on when the voters elected me in, and that is doing what is right. Even when you're gonna come under attack, doing what is right when people put falsehoods out there. And so today we stand asking the legislators to do what is right. It is not a partisan issue. This is a one man, one vote. This is making sure that Fulton County and the state of Georgia does not get sued for not doing what they're supposed to do. So with that, I will turn the mic back over to Representative Mainor.
We will take any questions that you may have for Commissioner Abdur Rahman or myself. So the Secretary of State has said that the data for maps must be into the County Elections Board by February 18th. Before it makes it to there, before February 18th, the governor must sign the maps. Before the governor signs the maps, it has to go through several committees to get the governor to sign it. Today, the first deadline was February the 1st. They extended it to February the 7th, meaning you need to be done with the process. That's where we are with the deadline. I'm going to let Robert point out the differences. This is the first map, is the map that Fulton County sent over to the state. If you look at the yellow, the purple, and the orange up top in the middle, all of that is my community that I represent, which is District 56. That's West End. That's the historic West Side, Adamsville. These are all marginalized communities. And in some of these districts, one side of the street is one commissioner, another side of the street is a different commissioner. There are sometimes up to 3 commissioners in one single community. Why is that a problem? That's a problem because when you live in a marginalized community, you may not even know you have a commissioner. Once you find out you have a commissioner, what your commissioner can do for you, and your neighbor says, my commissioner is this person, then you reach out to your commissioner and they say, I'm not your commissioner. That sets up a situation where people cannot get the services that they need. The second map. This was the first map that I proposed. If you look at the top, in districts 1 and 2, the red and blue, there are rumors going around that a Republican drew this map, and I'm carrying the map for them. I don't let anybody do anything for me. I do everything on my own. I drew this map. A Republican senator drew his own map. He dropped his map last week. After he dropped his map, I immediately went over to the Senate side, introduced myself to him. He has spoken to the commissioners in districts 1, 2, and 3. So I changed the first 2 districts up top to what his calculation was based on what those commissioners wanted. That is the only collaboration that happened because guess what? A map has got to be submitted, and the best way to get a map submitted, especially when you're at a deadline, is to collaborate where everybody is happy with the results. One, it's difficult to say it and be politically correct. Let me just say that, one, I'm not the chairman of Fulton County, so they feel like only the leadership can do it. We've been waiting for leadership to do it. If you look in your packet, there's a timeline where I have been working with the Fulton leadership for weeks, trying to make sure we get a map done on time. That was not done, so the other members are not happy because they chose to want to continue to wait for Fulton County to send a map, which is why we're in this situation. That's a good question. I wish I knew the answer to that.
I can give the answer. You got to understand that there are individuals, whether they be elected or organizations, that profit from confusion. They profit from North being against South. They profit from black being against white. And so even though my esteemed colleague here won't say it, Commissioner Khadijah will, because I am an elected county commissioner that was sent to do a job, and I was freezed out of the job that the constituents put me there to do. Why was that? Because there are those that profit and benefit from miscommunication, misaligning, and painting a story that is an absolute lie. And even though sometimes you gotta be strong enough to say that, that is the problem. This map is fair. This map protects us. This map has a lot of work that's done into it. However, I would say to you, where is Fulton County's map? Where are those that have been elected to do what they're supposed to do? Where are they? And so to misalign Representative Mainor is to misalign the map. So it's really not about the map. It's about someone who's trying to do right for everybody. I hope that was a good enough answer for you.
Any more questions? So any bill, there are two different types of bills. There's a local bill and there's a general bill. Usually the map process goes through a local bill. Since we are at the deadline and we need this to be passed immediately so it can make it to the finish line, I introduced it as a general bill. So there's a first reader, a second reader, then it goes to its committee. It passes out of committee. Once it passes out of committee, I present it to the chamber floor, goes to the Senate. Once it passes out of the Senate, it goes to the governor's desk to be signed, and then it goes to Fulton County so they can start setting up the machines so people can have an election in May. We do, and if you look in the packet for media, we have letters on the city letterhead that shows their support for this. One other thing that I want to say about this map, if you look at the first one, Commissioner Khadijah, she lives in the most northern part of the purple piece, even up further by the yellow.
By the yellow, my dot. All the way up, all the way.
Commissioner Khadijah lives there. But she covers all the way over to the east where the yellow and orange meet, as well as all the way down the west, which is a really narrow corridor in all of South Fulton. If you look at the second map, the dots on this map, this is interesting. The dots on this map look different. You know why? Because when this Fulton County submitted their maps, they had the wrong addresses for two commissioners. That changed the process even more. The two commissioners failed to let the county know they had changed their address. So this third map, it had to be reconfigured again. So where the commissioners live is accurately represented. So at the very bottom, that is for a commissioner of District 5. This commissioner lives the most southern from all of the commissioners, so now that commissioner will have the South Fulton area. The next part of the map, it creates boundaries where there's East Fulton and West Fulton. There's a commissioner that lives in East Fulton. There's a commissioner that lives in West Fulton. If you go up to the yellow for District 3, that's the Midtown, Buckhead area. It's very compact. That is the one district that barely changed at all from any maps. Up top, that's North Fulton. You want to add anything to that?
I just want to say that when you are looking at the maps and you look at where the actual commissioners live, it's very important that we represent the communities around us, the communities that know us, the communities that have voted us in. And so what I would be remiss if I didn't say is it seems when you look at the first map and you look up north, it seems that the communities and the neighborhoods are together. But when you come south, the neighborhoods are broken up. This map fixed that. So the commissioners will be around their neighborhoods. They will be truly supporting those that vote them in. And so it's very important that when we look at it and we see the difference, we know why the difference is. Well, I don't know that they moved and did not notify, so I can't speak to that. The only thing I can speak to is that at the county clerk office, there was one address, and submitted to the state was another address. Now, whether that was a situation where they forgot to update, that's a conversation you would have to have with them. But I don't have a problem saying it was Commissioner Natalie Hall of District 4 and Commissioner Marvin Arrington of District 5. And understand the process that the state had to do when getting incorrect information as to the residency of where the commissioner lives slows up the process, slows up the map.
Who's to blame? It would have to be the Fulton County Board of Commissioners. There's another important piece to this that Commissioner Khadijah has not mentioned, which is why we even ended up here in the first place. I'm going to let her elaborate. Fulton County introduced 3 maps to her. She was just elected last year. They presented 3 maps to her. She's a freshman legislator. 2 of the maps they presented, she would have been in competition campaigning running again this election cycle with another commissioner. She was told, so if you don't want to run again, you have to choose this map. What she didn't know was that that is not true. That's actually illegal, because if people vote for you for a certain amount of time, if she has a 4-year term, no one can take her 4 years from her. She was elected to the people for those 4 years. She would never have had to run again this year.
It's not much that I can say past that. If you put 3 maps in front of me, well, let me backtrack so I can give you some historical content. In November, when I first met with the external affairs for the map process, me and my staff, I was showed a map that I was written out of. So my chief of staff and my special assistant immediately caught it in the meeting and said, wait a minute, you all are showing us a map that you want us to help redistrict on, and it shows the commissioner written out. Apologies. Oh, my bad. Whatever. A process was supposed to take place because we gave 2 different scenarios from my office for maps. That was in November. That was the only meeting that I had with external affairs, that one meeting. So the next map that was put in front of me was the map that showed me in my district, or 2 other maps that would require me to run for office. This is information that Fulton County's county attorney's office gave to me. So if you tell me my only option is A, and the other 2 options mean you have to run again, you have already disenfranchised and invalidated my seat at the table, because what you're telling me, if I go with any other map other than map A, then I have to run again. That was incorrect information. Please understand me. I'm not trying to be facetious when I say this. This is a very big deal. So why is the commissioner of District 6 being held out, frozen out of the process? That's a question that you have to ask yourself, because I asked the question before I came to Representative Mainor. And that's a question that I posed to not only the chairman of Fulton County, I posed that question to the chairman of the Fulton delegation, who said he was told that I was I was with the process. He was told that I was happy with the process and all that. And so if there are individuals that are, one, trying to exclude me, two, giving misinformation, and three, disenfranchising, it's very important to know that Representative Misha Mainor is not the problem here. Thank you.
We have a community representative that has been elected to speak from the community, Mr. Al Bartel.
On behalf of the neighborhood leaders, community leaders, faith leaders, and small business leaders, we want to send a clear communication. Disenfranchising of an elected official that's been elected by the people, we will not sit back, we will not step back, and we will not pull back in the face of this egregious act of power, control, and hyperpartisanship. The commissioner was correct. People choose hyperpartisanship because they get paid. They make money off of confusion. They make money off of division. We will not be divided. We will not go quietly into the night. The smear campaign against Representative Mainor must stop. The political terrorist tactics against Commissioner Khadijah must stop. It is unconscionable that elected officials would pick hyperpartisanship to disfranchise communities. These communities have been together, they know each other, they live for each other. Drawing a line down the middle of the street where one commissioner is on one side and one commissioner is on the other side is not only illegal, it is unconscionable. To have this commissioner be forced with having to run against another commissioner just to keep her honor, integrity, and respect intact is unconscionable. So we want to send a communication. She's not alone. If they can do this in Fulton County, they can do this in the 159 counties of Georgia. So it's not just Fulton County community. It is the entire neighborhood, community, faith, and small business leaders across Georgia. We will not go quietly into the night. We will not sit back and let this process go forth. We will stand now, we are present now, and we promise to be present in the future. That is the communication from neighborhood, community, faith, and small business leaders all over the state of Georgia, the southeast region of the nation, and the United States of America.
That's going to conclude the press conference, but I do want to just leave you with one last thought. Local redistricting is controversial. I don't care which way you look at it. Gwinnett County is upset. Cobb County is upset. Fulton County is upset. So this is not just a Fulton thing. It's a contentious part of politics, and hopefully we let the voice of the people be heard. Thank you so much.